Good afternoon. My name is Tom Trento, the Director of the Florida Security Council, and we are here in downtown West Palm Beach on June 17th at 11:30 a.m. in the morning for a very important and a very specific reason. I direct the Florida Security Council, and the Florida Security Council is an organization, an educational organization that is dedicated to the research and investigation and activation and motivation of folks on the issue of terrorism, national security, and specifically Islamic terrorism. That's what we do. We're here today because in the building behind me, in the Palm Beach County Courthouse, we filed a lawsuit just moments ago. And the lawsuit has been filed against a defendant that you'll hear about in a moment, and it's a breach of contract action. But we believe there's much, much more to this story, and we have two other people to help tell the story this morning. First person is the attorney and lead counsel in this lawsuit, and very close friend of the Florida Security Council, Mr. Peter Feynman.
At 10:57 this morning, we filed a complaint in the 15th Judicial Circuit in and for Palm Beach County against Ocean Properties Limited, doing business as the DELRAY Beach Marriott. And in that lawsuit, we claim damages for their unilateral and unprovoked breach of contract that they had with the Florida Security Council to present Mr. Gert Wilders in a freedom of speech event. But this lawsuit will go far beyond a simple breach of contract, because by this lawsuit, we intend to find out who was really behind that cancellation. We do not think that Ocean Properties Limited acted alone. We're going to use the discovery process in this case and find out exactly who put Ocean Properties up to this unilateral and unlawful breach. And through this action, we'll get to the truth. Thank you. I'll now turn it back to Tom.
If you are going to prosecute a lawsuit in the county of Palm Beach in the state of Florida, third largest state in the union, you want Mr. Peter Feynman heading up your action. I'm going to introduce another key participant in the Free Speech Summit that was held on April 27th, 2009 in Boca Raton, Florida. It was originally supposed to be held at the DELRAY Beach Marriott, but for their unilateral cancellation. Another key individual that helped organize, promote, and help run the event that evening, Monday, April 27th, is someone well known to millions of people in the state of Florida. She is a hardcore free speech advocate, and not just in the quietness of her own living room. She, for many years now, has taken to the airwaves to fight for these critical battles, these battles that determine whether or not a democracy remains a democracy. But she also was intimately involved in the Free Speech Summit. In fact, she and I co-moderated, co-emceed the event, and she will be with us step by step by step in this investigative process. I'd like to introduce the renowned Joyce Kaufman.
You know, as a radio personality in South Florida, I've had to draw a lot of lines in the sand. There are things that we take positions on that are not particularly popular, but I answer to a higher calling. So I'm really not concerned with what man thinks about me. I only wonder and am concerned with what he thinks about me. And I've drawn a line in the sand with this effort. I was the co-chair of the host committee for the Florida Security Council's Free Speech Summit. It featured the Honorable Geert Wilders, who was, of course, a Dutch parliamentarian who has been leading the fight against exposing radical Islam and its effect on Europe, and in particular on the Netherlands. He has been banned from Britain. He has also been told that he is going to be prosecuted for hate crimes in his own country. And the problem is that's coming home to America unless we wake up and pay attention to who the enemy is. And I'm not going to be threatened with false accusations of Islamophobia or racism just because I ask questions whenever La Raza, an organization that by its very name is racist, and care intervenes in trying to silence people from talking about the issues that are critical to national security. I have to tell you, this breach of contract was very disturbing. I had gone on the air and promoted an event. I had had people pay money to come to that event, and at the last hour, they all had to be contacted personally and told that the location was changed. There were people who were not able to get that information and unable to attend the event. In spite of that, there was standing room only because people wanted to hear what the Honorable Geert Wilders had to say. Free speech is under attack all over the world right now, but never has the United States been so successfully undermined as it has in recent years. We deserve our day in court. Breach of contract notwithstanding, somebody said something that made the Delray Beach Marriott change their mind about hosting that conference, and in fact, hosting Geert Wilders in their facility as a guest. We're going to find out who made that threat. This is an effort on the part of the Florida Security Council to get to the bottom of this. Now, if nothing untoward happened and the Delray Beach Marriott can prove that they made this decision based on some internal memos or some ideas that caused them concern about the event, which I find highly unlikely, then so be it. This will be dismissed and that'll be the end of the story. But my suspicion is that information was exchanged and perhaps even threats were made by organizations that do not want a discussion in the open about the threat of radical Islam. So drawing this line in the sand is not particularly comfortable for any of us, but you need to know that we look forward to full and fair disclosure and honest and open argument, and we are patient. We're going the distance this time. We're not going to be outmaneuvered. We're not going to be outspent, and we're certainly not going to be intimidated. So I thank you for your support, and we'll keep you posted.
A larger issue may be at play here that Joyce just referred to. It's a breach of contract, and we will prosecute that. But the question is there a more sinister plan behind this cancellation? And here's some of the information we're dealing with. Number one, there was a signed contract. I signed it. Number two, there was an intensive effort in the month of April by some Muslim organizations in the state of Florida to have Representative Adam Hasner, the majority leader for the state of Florida, disassociate himself from the Free Speech Summit as one of the supporters and one of the defenders of free speech. And that Muslim effort was a campaign all over the state asking the governor, Charlie Crist, to ask Hasner for his resignation. That's a fact. We have a signed contract, fact. Intimidation efforts against Hasner, fact. Free speech, of course. We also then have a fact, the unilateral cancellation. Then, several weeks later, another unilateral cancellation at a hotel, the Lowe's Vanderbilt Hotel, where the New English Review was organizing a symposium on Islam featuring Mr. Geert Wilders by video and two of the participants at our Free Speech Summit. That was unilaterally canceled mere days before. Fact. So for the folks that we're dealing with, a word of warning. We will prosecute this case, as I said, aggressively. And we're going to determine whether these events were mere coincidence or if there's a unifying cause, a unifying factor. If there is, ladies and gentlemen, then the free speech rights that we enjoy are being unhinged, undermined, and in danger. And that's what we're fighting for today, free speech concerns. A word of warning to the Delray Beach Marriott. We are now going to look intensively and investigate intensively your actions and your activity on this part. A word of warning to any groups out there, Muslim or otherwise, that may have interfered in our contract. We are going to investigate to the full force of the law and our investigative capabilities. And for those of you who have supported us throughout this process, a word of thanks. Continue supporting our work as we fight to defend your freedom. So we are serious about this. We thank you folks for, again, supporting, and we're going to get the word out and let the investigation begin. I'll close on that note. Thank you very much.